What's going on, guys? Yoel here, and welcome to Confabulate, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm your host, Yoel Sanchez. Thank you so much for stopping by. And this week, you guys, we have JonPaul Wallace coming on the podcast. I know I took a little break from doing episodes. Life kind of hit rock bottom for a little bit, and school started, so I was a little busy. But I have 4 new episodes coming for you guys, and I'm super excited. So we have JonPaul this week, one of my favorite singers. One of my favorite people, and I've been supporting him for so many years. I freak out every time I get to interview him. This is 3 years in a row, and I'm super honored and so grateful to have him part of this season. So thank you, JonPaul, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's such a great episode. Hope you like it. All right, bye. What's up?
Yo, yo, yo. There we are.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm so good. I just got out of work, had a long day at school. I'm winding down. I'm excited to be talking to you. Thank you for
Let's
coming on
go.
again.
Let's go. Thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. This is your third time, 3 years in a row. I look
Let's go.
forward to this every single year. Thank you for doing this. Next time, we got to do this in person. Hopefully, next year I can be in Michigan.
That'd
Um,
be sick, dude. Or I can come out to California for crying out loud.
Dude, I know, but like, you put me in the oh my God, you did like this for your fans. It was like updates of like
Oh, the
shows,
email list.
the email thing. Yeah, I joined it, and I love that you're giving like dates in advance of all your concerts and stuff. And I'm like, I don't live in Michigan, but I would love to
I
go.
know.
Keep sending them because I will go eventually at some point.
Heck yeah,
Um, but yeah, thank you for sending those.
for
Thank you for
sure.
coming on. I appreciate it. And how was your day? How's everything going for you right now?
Good, man. Good. I also just got out of work, so we were making and delivering some pizzas. So it's a good day, you know. Ate some pizza, sold some pizza, made some pizza. So can't complain, right?
Yeah, family business, right?
Yep, you better believe it.
Damn, I don't think I could work at a pizzeria. I would gain weight so fast.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You definitely you got your up days, your strong days and your weak days, you know?
Yeah, I was talking to my coworker today. Her little brother works at Pan Express, and I was saying I could not work at Pan
Oh,
Express because they get free food for lunch every single day. I'm
yep.
like, dude, I don't, I would not
I
be able to do it.
love Panda Express, dude.
I know. Yeah, you also love Burger King, right? I remember you like the
Hell
Burger
yeah.
King.
I'm a pro Burger King over McDonald's guy every day of the week.
Dude, I'm not with you on that.
All
There was a
right,
there was a
I can
burger
respect your honesty.
there was a Burger King down the road, and they're making it into a Starbucks now. They got rid of it, and I was like, thank God.
Dude, low key, all right. Like I think Burger King is an underrated fast food, but honestly, they are kind of fucking it up. Like they just keep it like they're closing like location after location. I'm like, all right, where Burger King's not working here.
Yeah, I do love a good Whopper though, and some onion rings. Oh, and their breakfast
Yeah,
is amazing too. I love their breakfast.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Some chicken fries, underrated, man.
Yes. Okay, I have a shit ton of questions for you that I had so much fun
So
planning. I love asking you all these questions. I first want to start with the playlist you made for me, dude. I appreciate it so much. I received your shirt and I loved it. I almost took it with me to Vegas just to see like what would end up happening. Because the shirt says I should have more sex. Oh, and it arrived at my mom's house, and she's like, "Some weird shirt, right for you? I don't know like why it says that." And I'm like, "Mom, let me tell you why." And I explained your song. I had to tell
that's
her about your
amazing.
song. Yeah, and I took it with me. I almost took it with me to Vegas, but I didn't. Just
It's a
to see.
bold, yeah, it's a bold shirt to wear out for sure. My sister lives in Nashville. Shout out to Rocky, and she's like, I was just wearing your shirt one day. Like I didn't really like even like she's had it now for like a long time. So she's like, I kind of like didn't like just wasn't thinking about it. I was like, oh, it's John Paul's shirt. And and she said some old guy was just like walked up to him and was like, is that so? And she's like, yeah, I'm not wearing this shirt out anymore.
Can you explain to me though, like, the meaning or like why you wrote that? Because it's a fun song and it's a playful song. So explain
Yeah.
to me like the whole vibe of the song and that line.
So yeah, it's 3, 2, 1, and it's really funny because like everyone refers to that song as like the sex song, and literally the only line in that song that any even close to references sex is the opening line, but that's just like the one line that like sticks to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But no, it's actually a funny story. So I was in the studio with a good friend of mine, Matt Giroux, in Nashville, and he worked on like Never Not Lonely, Heartbeat, like a ton of my stuff. So we've done a lot of work together. And I brought him like three different song ideas. It was actually the same weekend we did Never Not Lonely. And we knew we were doing that one. And then we were like, we want to do a second song while I was there. And I brought him like three different demos. One of which has actually come through, funny enough. Uh, and played them for him. And he was like, yeah. He's like, what if we just like started something like completely fresh, like totally from scratch? I was like, cool, cool, cool. Like, sounds good. I guess I'll just throw these out. But yeah, it ended up being great. And honestly, I was going through a really tough like stretch of writing at that time. So I was really kind of nervous about like making something from total scratch. Because it's not like I can just get back in the studio with him. I was down there for like a weekend in Nashville, you know. So but he in one room was making a beat with his headphones on, and then I went in the other room and just like busted out like 15 or 20 different like lyric concepts, like just different like with anything from like a full verse to a one line to a chorus, like just like anything I could think of that like could lead somewhere. um was I just like threw it down, and one of the ideas I had listed was pretty much the entire first verse, or like the first half of the first verse of 3 2 1, which was like just like I should have more sex and make more friends, see more places, find more dead ends. That was the only part of the song I had written, but I kind of knew like conceptually like where it was going, you know. And so I came back in the room. He made like two different instrumentals, and I vibed with the 3 2 1 1 the most. And so I was like, yeah, I think I have like actually a pretty good concept that would fit this. I was like, it's kind of like a not like a somber concept, but it's more like it's just like a longing to like want to do more and like want to like maximize your young years and just feeling like you're not doing enough, you know. And he was like, all right, I could see that. I was like, yeah. I was like, so like the opening line I have is like, I should have more sex. And he was like, dude, yeah, we got to do that. And then literally like top to bottom just wrote the entire song with Matt after that. And it like it came out so fast. Like we had that song whipped up in no time. It was a pretty cool moment.
And it catches people's attention like right off the bat.
Yeah. And like I'll like talk to people and they're like, oh, I really like that one song, like the I should have more sex song. And I'm like, that's not even the chorus. Like that's not even like the hook part of the song. But yeah, it definitely like that was the whole goal. And I don't just so I know too, are you like because I'm gonna go on tangents and stuff, so I don't expect you to like include all this or this is gonna be a really long conversation.
All right.
But so feel free to edit any of it out. But are you familiar with Alexander 23, who's a really talented artist? He's
No.
pretty big. He's I've seen him play live a couple times, but he actually wrote he wrote on like Olivia Rodrigo's first record, and like he does some pretty cool like writing stuff. But he's a great artist in his own right. And his whole thing is like, I mean, like I don't even know how much he does it on purpose, but he always has just an amazing opening line to a song. Like the very first line or two is like so ear catching that like at the time I wrote 3 2 1, I was very much like the first line of the song has to be so good because it just like sucks you into the rest of the song. So anything I was writing at that time, I was really, really emphasizing making sure like the first line or two was like super like out there and captivating. So yeah, I should have more sex. I mean, it doesn't get any more blunt than that. So that's how it came up.
I love it. It's such a fun song. And back to the playlist you made me. I appreciate it so much. I love that you even put my logo, like you spent so much time on it, and I loved it. I was freaking out over it. And I told you what I thought about all the songs.
I
Um,
appreciated that. That was awesome.
yeah. Are any of those songs gonna come out soon? Because I'm like dying for people to hear these songs. They're so good.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so the next one out is going to be I'm in Need a Reason. I just got the master back, and I actually when like we hopped on this call, I was just working on the cover art for it. So I've got like two different cover arts. I'm probably going to like submit it for release this week, so it'll probably come out in about a month.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's been like a pretty crazy whirlwind, just of like a lot of we had a really pretty solid release plan, and then like I wrote like new stuff that I was like, I like this, like I got to get this out first, so it like kind of jumbled everything. So yeah, there's a lot of like, as you know, a lot of like stuff going, to be finished and released. But I think I'm in Need a Reason will probably be the last one out this year, and then after that, like I'm hoping by like New Year's we have pretty much all those songs done, so that we can just start boom, 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 putting them out like one a month, maybe more. Or maybe possibly dropping it all on a project. So yeah, everything on that playlist. The one song, well, when people are hearing this, they're not going to know what song this is, but a little bit of foreshadowing. There's one song called "Worth Every Second" that all I have on there in the demo you heard is just like a verse chorus, and I sent it to this artist that I found from Toronto, it's a female like R&B vocalist. She's super super talented, and she was all about it. She loved the song and stuff. So I think I'm gonna have a feature on that one. So that's gonna be really cool. Um, so that's the only one I don't really have a timetable on because I'm just like waiting to get back from her. But everything else is like pretty close to done and should be flooding out early next year.
That's insane. I can't wait.
Thanks.
Hopefully it's like I'm voting for the project. If everything can be like either a small EP or an album, that'd be really cool. Because a lot of them, all of them, I enjoyed every single one of them. I was so not impressed because I've been impressed by you for so long, but it was just so incredible to hear another side of you, you know? So it was really,
Thank
really
you.
cool.
It's different like in a lot of reasons. The only thing holding me back from doing like a project is like I feel like a lot of the songs like they really span from like being like very ballady, very like love songy, to being like this very like upbeat and
Yeah.
energetic, like talk your talk type of song. So like just seeing how all that fits together in a project is where I like struggle with it. Um, so that's the kind of the debate on that. But I think they will be tied together somehow. But no, I appreciate that. This batch of music is like the first like batch of music where I've pretty much all outside of I'm in Need a Reason, I've pretty much all self-produced it. So that has been like part of the challenge, because like because it like I'm kind of learning that process as well. But it's also I really like because I'm able to just have a lot more control and a lot more expression of myself in a way I haven't been able to do previously. So yeah, that's the part I'm most excited about getting this stuff out there.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait. I want to ask you really quickly. I know it's been a long time since you've done your 7 years performance for your graduation. I did want to tell you a little story about it first because I know I think I told you how much that song means to me. I remember watching it when I was 17. I was going into my senior year and I saw your performance of it. It was going viral. Everyone was watching it, and I loved it and it moved me and it inspired me to be like, I think I kind of want to do something like that for my graduation, kind of tell a similar story. But you did it so perfectly. I was like, I really want to do that if I can. And I remember finding your Instagram and sending you a message. I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to respond to me, but let's see where it goes. And you did. And I was so excited about it. And I practiced that whole year to do it for my graduation. But then everything just like turned upside down like the month prior to that. So I was not able to do it. I was able to do it for graduation practice for everyone, but I wasn't able to do it for my graduation. But that's when I recorded a video so I could
Yep.
do it how I wanted to do it. Because that version of that song means a lot to me, and it meant a lot for that specific moment. You know, for kids that are graduating, it's very cool. So I
Thank
wanted
you.
to ask you. Well, I first want to tell you how much that song means to me, but I also wanted to. How did that song change you afterwards? Because I know your life probably changed a bit, right? After you did that
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah, so that song, like that whole experience was like unreal. Like to this day, like I can't explain how just like random and like it was like the whole time, like the first year after it happened was just like I felt like I was just like coasting, like, dude, this is like freaking awesome. You know what I mean? Like it just like it came so easily and it came so like I didn't plan to have that video taken. I didn't even know it was taken. Like the only video I thought existed of that performance was my parents' video that they got, which was horrible. And I don't even think we have it anymore. And yeah, so the video got posted by somebody else. It got shared by somebody else and it went viral on someone else's YouTube. So I had no idea anything was going on, but it's funny you said, so it was the 7 year anniversary of 7 years this year. So,
Oh
so it's
wow.
7 years of 7 years. So I posted like a little TikTok about this, but I think the like where I really felt like I changed was in like the years, like the probably like after the first year, like 2 to 3 to 4 years after that was really, really, really hard on like my mental health because like I never really like tried for something like that to happen. Like I didn't have any like strategy to like make something like that happen. So like I was expecting it to just keep happening, with like different covers I would put out or whatever. And I really like struggled with like self-worth and like feeling like I like imposter syndrome of like, okay, like this thing happened, but like maybe like that was the best, like maybe that's where I peaked, and like I'm not never gonna be able to top that, and just not like I just wasn't ready for that kind of attention. I didn't know who I was as an artist. I really didn't know who I was as like a person, so it just took so much, like a lot of time and energy of just figuring all that out while trying to like maintain like this like audience all of a sudden that just like appeared in front of me. So it was really hard, and like there was obviously like I noticed on my social media, like if I posted anything that wasn't about 7 years, it was like considerably less engagement.
Yeah.
So that was like taxing, because I was like, dude, like I'm like putting like I feel like I barely even tried for that thing to happen, and like now I'm like
Mm.
really putting a lot of effort into stuff, and it's like just not catching on at all. So I think the most it changed me was just like doing so much inner work and so much work on my mind and my spirit, just to feel like, just to be confident in myself and like comfortable with myself, and like be able to care about social media and things like that enough to like still work at it, but not care too much to where like when it's not working, it like decimates my mental health.
Yeah.
Um, I think that was the biggest. And honestly, it's funny now that I've gone through that. On the other side of it, I see like a lot of I've seen a lot of artists that I know, not super close with, but that I know like personally, who have something pop off like that, and then when the next things don't pop off like that, I see a lot of the same signs in them that I feel like I went through for that. And like I and I've seen people post about it too, like even if it's not in music, if they're just like, creators on TikTok or whatever, and they're like, man, like I had one thing blow up and now I don't know how to like sustain it. Like I don't know what the next thing is. And I'm like, dude, we need like a support group or something like for for like former viral people. But yeah, I think that's what it changed the most. I think it just really made me comfortable, like learn how to be comfortable with myself and confident in myself, like, and not attached to, like attention, really.
Yeah. And also success and stuff like that, it's defined by so many different things.
Mm.
Like you said, that one performance might have been um maybe like something that you just did just to do it, but I'm sure there's songs that mean so much to you, or performances that you've done that meant a lot to you. Like you've been killing it this whole year. You've been doing so many performances and you're performing almost every weekend, right?
Yeah.
And you've just been so busy, and that's a version of success right there. And people
Yeah.
coming to see you, or people telling you, dude, I love this song. Like it's measured in many different ways, not just sometimes
Yeah.
views, especially for, TikTokers and YouTubers. Even me, I've done a bunch of covers that I love and I'm very proud of, that no one really ever watched it. But then there's some that I thought I sucked ass in that have
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of views, and I'm like, what the hell? So it's
Yeah.
it's different every time for all of us. We're our own worst critic, right?
Yep. No, that's real. That's really real.
Yeah. Fast forward, let's see. Um, but fast forward, how about like from you're 18 graduating, and I'm assuming you're 25 now, right?
About to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Next month I turn 20. Actually, a month from today I turn 25.
Oh, nice. What is, in regards to like life or becoming an adult, a lesson you've learned, or the biggest thing you've learned about yourself, with growing and like either making mistakes or with work or with music, something you learned throughout the years? Because 18 and 25, there's a lot to learn and grow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like a lot of it was, kind of the same stuff I like talked about, just like learning to be more comfortable and confident in myself, and just kind of trust this process and trust the path I'm on. I think right now, I think one of my biggest like mental struggles is like I have a pretty like good sized friend group of like just people that I've known for like a long time, and like really, really great people that I love. Like I love my friends, and a lot of them are like getting engaged, getting married, like house shopping, like things like that. And like it's tough being on like a different path where like I'm not doing really any of those things. So I feel like that's something I'm learning now, as like is just understanding my own path and like feeling confident and comfortable in that path, and knowing it looks different from other people's. So I think that's something I'm like learning now. But I think the biggest thing is just trusting this process and just, staying confident and believing in myself and knowing it's gonna work itself out one way or another because we're gonna make it happen.
Yes, I love that. That's cool. And has your family always been supportive of you and your music? Because I love that you still work for your family business and you also make music a priority of yours. I'm in the same boat. I work for my dad's business and I'm a music major now. I'm trying to get my music degree because it's such a big part of my life. I'm kind of
Yeah.
nothing without my voice and music, so I want to keep it a part of it. Um, so
That's
has your
awesome.
family always been supportive of you and your music?
100%. Yeah, like without any slice of doubt. Because my older sister Rocky was into it kind of before I was.
Yeah.
So like she kind of paved the way, and I think my family has always been all in for her, and when I started doing it, they were all in for me, and they're very much like my family will stop like I don't they'll never stop supporting me, but like they like their whole philosophy is like if you're gonna work at it, like we're behind you 100%. You know what I mean? Like we're if you believe in this and you were gonna work at it, we're gonna do everything we can to like support you and help you like make this happen. So that's like kind of the values they've always instilled in us, and that's always been their philosophy. So I'm very very grateful for that.
That's amazing. It doesn't always happen for a lot of us artistic people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And also, when did you see the wheels start moving forward for you, or like, when did you see things changing in terms of like performing at all these venues? I'm sure it must have been different for you, or maybe slow at first to get all these gigs to play at, and now you're at a level where you're performing all the time. When did you see it start grooving, or what kind of steps did you have to make in order to get to where you are now?
Honestly, I mean, granted, I'm still like a long ways away from, where I plan on ending up, but just getting to this point, like, I think when everything shut down for the pandemic, that was like the most like growth I've experienced as like an artist, a performer, and everything. Like, I just not having, I mean, I was also at the same time I graduated college, so that was a big like burden off my plate. So I was really able to dial in and focus, but I focused so much on writing and completely scrapping my performance setup and creating a new one, and almost by accident, but like just getting with new people and working with new people, and it turned into this new performance setup that, and then over a couple years since stuff started opening back up, it's evolved even more. um but I would say when things really shut down and I just totally dialed in and just really focused on my craft during that time. Um, Granted, like the first, like when it first shut down, it was like I was just at home doing puzzles and stuff, and like low key just kind of sad. But once like it started to open back up a little bit where I could, where we were, working and things like that. During that time I really dialed in and focused on myself and my craft. And I feel like I came out of that a completely different artist and frankly a different person.
Yeah.
Than I did when I went in. So that was really where stuff started. And then that we it was the summer of 2021. Yeah, it was the summer of 2021. I played the first gig with the band that I have now. Um, it was like an unpaid gig. It was at like this festival that's close to my house that's really not our audience at all. And like
Mhm.
nobody was paying attention at all. Um, but it was so much fun. Like aside from all that, it was just so much fun that I was like, oh, this is the move now. This is the way to go. And so what I've seen the biggest change in it's like since then is like the live performance aspect, because we go into spaces where whether people know us or not, like people leave as fans. And that's like I feel like that's really developed into a strength. To where like we like when there's like whether it's a venue who's never really seen us before and they're having us come in and open or whatever, like there's I feel like we bring like a wow factor to places when we play with the band like that I'm really proud of, that we worked this hard on getting it to where it is now. But I'd say that's like one of the biggest developments definitely in
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
Yeah, and for singers and artists and bands that are trying to, get their name out there, would you say like how to like more open mics or trying to just ask all these venues or restaurants to perform? What's your advice for them just trying to, get their music out there?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're a singer, the easiest way to get a gig even if it's just not a very good gig, but is just to learn. Like most of our early gigs were like 2 to 3 hour bar gigs where it was mostly cover songs. And that's a long show, but if you can like gather up that much material, those gigs are so valuable because most of the time people are not really paying attention to you and the pay is usually not very good, but you do usually get paid, which is nice. But like that gives you so much opportunity just to like learn and grow as a performer because it's usually pretty low pressure, pretty low stakes, and you're there for 3 hours. So you have no choice but to just like kind of get outside your box and just get comfortable, you know? Um, so I'd say if you're like in a band or you're a duo or whatever, that's a really good place to look. But just if you're just starting out and just want to get out there, open mics, I can't even tell you how many open mics I've done in my life, but like they're so valuable because like they're a lot of times they're very supportive places. Like it's usually musicians looking to support other musicians, and that they're made for people who are, you know, pretty new or that kind of just do it for fun. And it's usually a lot of low pressure and a very supportive room. And it's a really good time, really great way to meet people. And, you know, that's just how you build your network and just get a little more comfortable on stage.
Nice. And for your longer shows or just shows in general, because you have a pretty high voice and your songs are pretty hard to sing. So do you do anything like to protect your voice? Do you do vocal warm-ups or tea or stuff? Like what do you do like for your voice?
Yeah, that's another thing I feel like has been a very big development, kind of like coming out of COVID. But I think a lot of it is just training. Like I do vocal warm-ups every day, whether I am performing or not. But I do the exercises every day. But I noticed like the very first few gigs I would do that were that long, I would like the next day my voice would be like really, really weak. But now it's to the point where like I like this weekend I did two shows that were both like over 3 hours long, and like I woke up like the third day in a row and I easily could have done another one like
Wow.
without feeling like any stress. So a lot like it's just building that up with your voice, and you know you don't want to overdo it, but a great way to build stamina is just to keep singing, you know. And there's, you know, voice lessons are great because they teach you how to sing from the right place, and there's different vocal techniques you can do to not blow out your voice singing for that long. So yeah, I have a really great vocal coach, which is nice. And she's helped me with that a lot. But yeah, it's just a muscle to build is really all it is.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's like your voice like a muscle. People are trying to work with like whistles or falsettos or any lower ranges, just practicing, practicing, and doing scales all the time. You gotta
Yep.
make that thing stronger. Yeah. Have you had any in regards to your shows? Do you have like a your most memorable show or something that you never forget that happened at one of the shows? Either someone was really drunk or anything crazy happened at your shows?
um yeah, there's a lot actually. Now that you bring it up, there's like the crappy, funny ones, and then there's just some really like where just like really proud moments.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
so I'll pick one of each, but a crappy, funny one. Like a lot of the gigs I play are like less for like career like advancement per se, and more just for like income. Like usually like my longer acoustic nights is just like my like supplement my income basically, because it beats working at the pizzeria. But I played at a casino a couple times last year, which casino crowd that is just different. And I didn't really, I'm not like a, I'll go to casino every once in a while, like if I'm traveling somewhere and like it's fun, you know, but I'm not like a casino guy. And that casino crowd, man, there was this, there was this girl who was probably in her mid 40s, um, who like I was there with my dad, my girlfriend, and then like two of our family friends, who was like a couple. And like the girl came up to our table while I was on my break and was like, "Hey, like I'm here with my friend or whatever. We're just wondering like, is anybody single here?" And we were like, "No, no one is." And she was like, "Oh, okay," and like walked away. She was like plastered, and then she came up during my set and came up to me and brought me a drink. And she was like, "This is from a fan." And I was like, "All right, well, I'm absolutely not drinking this." So I set it
No.
down. I was like, "Thank you so much," whatever. And then she went and like sat in like the closest chair to me and like started like swaying and like rubbing the insides of her legs and stuff, like
Oh
being really
no.
weird. And I was like, and like she was like right to my right, and my family and girlfriend were like right to my left. They were losing it, laughing so hard at this. And like she was like rubbing her thigh and stuff and like trying to like be all sexy, like easily double my age. And then she like got up and started like dancing in front of me and like turning around and like shaking her like butt at me and stuff. Like
Oh my
my
God.
family was like pissing themselves laughing. And I was trying not to laugh. I was so uncomfortable. But
Your
yeah,
girlfriend was laughing too?
oh yeah, I mean it was like obvious like this woman like needs to be like kept, like someone's got to come get her, because like it was, yeah, it was a rough night. They obviously like could see how uncomfortable I was, so they thought that was a funny time. But yeah, that was like probably one of the funniest and most uncomfortable stories I've ever experienced while performing. Um but we had in different terms and like more proud moments that I'll never forget. Um, we've had a couple this year. We've had some really, really cool moments this year. But we played one show in February at this venue, like west of Detroit, and like everything that like could have gone wrong went wrong in this gig. Like they told me the wrong time slot until the day before. So like I didn't, like I told everybody the wrong time that we are performing, and it turns out we are performing like 3 hours earlier. Um,
Whoa.
and then like the night ran late. They didn't even have us on the show initially, and then they added us, like they told me I was gonna be on it, and then I just waited for information and didn't get it until like a week and a half beforehand. It was like a bunch of stuff. Our set ended up getting cut like almost in half. It was a bunch of really weird stuff, but it was pretty far out of our like range of where we normally play. Like it was not like a hometown show at all. It was a new city we'd never played before. And it was still decently close to Detroit, but probably like 30 to 40 minutes away from any other show we've played. And we literally, like, so many people came out from all over to see us. And like when they told us our set was cut short, I was like, oh, we only got one, like I guess we only can do one more song. And everyone was like, do 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1. I was like, all right, I guess we'll do 3-2-1. And then we started it. And when we start that song live, we started like I started just on piano doing the chorus really softly. And the whole, and I was just like, I just wanna be. And then the whole room was, where there's a sight to see. And like everyone
Oh
was
my
singing. And then when I
God.
hit like the Ayo, everyone just went Ayo. And it was so loud. Like literally like the whole band, we all got chills. And it was like, this is freaking sick. Like it was just every single thing that went wrong that could have went wrong did. And it was still just like the people there were just incredible. And that was like, we'll never forget that, you know?
Wow. But it was worth it for that moment. They should have made you guys like the main performers if everyone was gonna go see you guys.
That was, it was a crazy, like it was a whole crazy thing. It was like a battle of the band style thing. And I think we were like the people that were not from that area. So they just kind of were like, if someone's getting like the crap end of the stick, it's gonna be us. But
Wow.
it was just like we were all so like pretty upset about everything that had happened. And then that moment was just like, dude, like nothing even matters. Like it's just about this music and these people, and that's it, you know. So it
Yeah.
was just great. Like I'll always remember that.
Yeah. Do you ever get nervous at all or stage fright, or did you used to when you were younger? How do you deal with nerves at all if you get nervous?
I definitely used to get like terrified. Like I like, yeah, performing in any capacity is definitely very anxiety inducing. Um Honestly though, like I don't really get stage fright anymore these days. I will get anxious, like, but it's anxious of like I just want to get on that stage. Like I just know, like I know what's gonna happen once I'm there. I just like I'm just dying to get to it, you know. Um, but I don't think I get nervous. I think my biggest fear is always that like we're gonna do, like when it's a band show, is that we're gonna do a show and there's just not gonna be anybody there. Like that's like that part always, like there's always that fear in the back of my mind. I think that makes me anxious more than anything. But I know if there's a room and a stage and people that I know, like I know what we're gonna do, you know. And I think the big difference there, which is something that changed, you know, at some point after a certain amount of shows, was like we stopped like rehearsing for a show and just started like getting better as a band. And I think a lot of that came from doing those long nights where it was just like we, like I didn't feel like we were behind like preparing for each show. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I feel like if we booked a show right now for a month out and didn't have time to rehearse between now and that month, we'd be able to pick up right where we left off because we played together so much now, and like we just have like such a good understanding of each other. And I think that gives me so much more confidence on stage, knowing that I don't have to worry about like arrangements. I don't have to worry about what the other guys are going to do. Like we've messed up and made it sound really cool, and like it's, so like it's just, we've already done all that, and I know that we're gonna like just make great energy and great stuff. So I
Nice.
think it just comes down to preparation and stuff. Gives me a lot of more confidence on stage.
Yeah. And you got to open for the legend herself, Patti LaBelle. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you how that happened. How did you get that gig?
So that gig, that was awesome. She's an icon, so that was crazy.
Yeah.
Is through this company called Seven Stone Management, and this woman Janelle Stone owns it, from Detroit, and they do a lot of cool stuff. But they book a lot for that venue, which is called the Soundboard. It's like a 200 or 2,000 something, like 2,400 person room, and they book a lot of like they a lot of times will ask Seven Stone Management to find like openers, and so Janelle had sent out a lot of opportunities for that venue, and I like put my name in for all of them and never like heard back on any of them. But she's got a lot of people on her roster, so it was cool. But she sent one out for like Patti LaBelle. I think it was like Patti LaBelle, like Robin Thicke, and one other artist. And she was like let me know like who you'd like to open. Like she sent it out to her whole roster and was like, respond with the video or whatever, and like who you'd want to open for, like in order. And Patti LaBelle was definitely at the top of my list. And I didn't hear anything for months. And then I like completely forgot about it, like because I just apply for stuff all the time, so you don't really keep track. And then the gig was on a Sunday, and the Tuesday before, she called me and she's like, "Hey, like, are you free Sunday? Because like I think like they forgot to tell us that they picked somebody to open and it's you. So like
Whoa.
free this Sunday to play." And I was like, I guess like I
It's
want to make it
amazing.
happen. So yeah, it was like 5 days notice. And yeah, it turned out to be like an awesome thing. That was that was another moment. That one unfortunately wasn't with the band because they didn't want like a full band for an opener. They wanted like a solo act. But yeah, like by the, it was it's a tough crowd to crack. Like an older crowd is like a tough crowd to crack because like especially an older crowd like a Patti LaBelle fans, because like that's like
Yeah.
iconic music. And people who listen to like music from 60s and 70s generally don't have a lot of respect for today's music, you know what I mean, because it's not the same.
Yeah.
And not that one's better than the other, but people who are a fan of older music exclusively, and grew up during that time, usually don't have open ears to like today's music. So that was a very nerve-wracking performance because I really did not know how it was going to go at all. But by about halfway through the set, like I did one song that has like a sing-along part, like a call and response, and the whole room was just singing along with it. And
Oh, great.
yeah, we really connected. And then I got tickets to the show, so I could go out in the crowd. And I was with my parents and my girlfriend, and we were watching the show. And it was one of her first songs. She was like, and shout out to JonPaul Wallace, who did a great job opening. I was like,
That's
so that was like
amazing.
that gassed me up pretty good. So yeah, that was an awesome show, super fun.
Yeah. But you didn't get to meet her? She just called you out? Oh.
Yeah, she called me out. No,
No.
yeah, she was definitely like, I saw her. I was standing backstage, like she walked right by me to get on stage because I was just getting all my stuff off stage, and then I was like packing it all up, and then she like walked by, and like she is like the clothes she has, the wardrobe is crazy. Like it's very artistic, these big dresses and all this stuff. So yeah, she was a very busy woman leading up to the show, getting all that ready. She had a whole team doing it. So I was even mad. I was like, dude, like that. She looked so cool. She had like just great clothes and stuff, and it all looked like custom done. So yeah, she was definitely too busy to be just like yapping with me at that time.
When you do a show like that or a show in a different city or whatever, when you don't know what the audience or what the vibe's going to be, are you like particular about the songs you choose to sing, or are you more like, do you, I don't know, are you particular with the songs you pick?
Yeah, so that the our set list has really evolved in terms of the band stuff. Like I think our biggest thing now is like we just want the most high energy set possible.
Mm,
Like, and we'll throw usually one or two like mid tempo to slower songs in it, but it's pretty much always just like as high energy and as captivating as we can make it, and
yeah.
quickly moving and attention getting. That's usually how we go about it. So we'll definitely like we have kind of a pool because we've done all these 3 hour gigs that we have like a pretty big pool of music that we pull from, and we know which ones are our best ones, which ones usually go over the best. And we have probably an hour to an hour and a half's worth of like really strong music that like will kind of shape depending on the gig for like a 30 to 40 minute set. So like we just opened for a Michael Jackson tribute act a couple weeks ago, which was really fun. That was like a 550 person room, and it was full, so that was really cool. But we definitely like made some different choices than we might normally make for that one because we knew it was like people who liked Michael Jackson music, so probably big 80s fans and stuff. So
Yeah.
we definitely will tailor it a little bit, but there's a handful of songs that's like these are in our set no matter what, because like every time like we just love playing it and it always translates really well. So we'll definitely like tailor it a little bit for each gig.
Yeah. And do you have a dream venue or an event that you like to perform at, either in Detroit or in Michigan or just either across the country? Any dream
Yeah.
venues that you want to perform at one day?
Um, I have a lot in all different sizes. I mean, my end game, like I'd love to just perform like the biggest, stadium. Like I'd love to do like oh my god, I'm blanking on what's the big one in New York?
Madison Square Garden?
Madison Square. I keep want to say Marvin Gardens like it's Monopoly. Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a big one of mine. But just as far as like specific venues go, Red Rocks is really high on my list. Like I would just love to go there to see a concert, because it just looks so beautiful. But I would love to play a show at Red Rocks one day.
Nice. What about an artist that you love to open for? Either some of your favorite artists that you want to open for one day?
I think AJR is probably like I like just off the top of my head, that's probably my number one because I went and saw them live once and they put on an absolutely incredible show and they're so good at connecting with people that I feel like we match the same energy that would be great to like get a room kind of primed up for them to come and take the stage. I would love to do a show with them one day.
That's cool. They sing Bang Bang Bang, that song, right?
Mhm.
That's the only
Yep.
one I know. I wish I knew more.
You got to do a deep dive, man. They're
Yeah.
like it's three brothers, so I don't know how much you know about it, but it's three
Yeah.
brothers that make up AJR, and they are insanely talented, man. If you ever get a chance to go see them, like one of the best concerts, if not the best concert I've ever been to.
Wow. I did see them perform at the VMAs one year. I saw their performance and they did another song. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah,
Um,
they're dope guys.
yeah. What about a dream artist that you love to sing with or write with or work with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like pretty close to the top of my list would be Tyler the Creator, as far as just like getting in the studio or doing some sort of collaboration with, because he's just a crazy talented producer and artist and writer and everything. So I feel like we have like a complementary skill set. So I think we could do something really cool together. That's he's very high on my list.
Nice. You also love I remember one time I asked you about your musical influences. He's one of them, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Didn't you say Stevie Wonder too? You love Stevie
Oh
Wonder?
yeah, Stevie's a big one for sure. Stevie, I'd love to nail down for a collab, man. I don't know if he's still doing that, but yeah, no, Stevie Wonder's awesome. I mean, just being from Michigan, and relatively close to Detroit, uh, it's cool. I've been to the Hitsville. There's like a Motown museum where you can see where all the Stevie Wonder and all the other Motown artists recorded and stuff. And I've been there a handful of times, and it's really cool.
Nice. And in Michigan, what are some of your favorite things to do in Michigan or in your city? Your favorite things to do or something that you recommend people doing when they come visit?
Well, Michigan is like if you're down in like the like Detroit area and stuff, there's a lot of cool stuff. But if you're looking for like an adventure, northern Michigan is unbelievably gorgeous, and I feel like it doesn't get. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it does not get a lot of love like outside of Michigan. I feel like a lot of people outside of Michigan don't really realize how much is here.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I try to take a trip or two up north every single summer because there's so much. I was actually just up in the UP in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan this past weekend, playing some gigs. But yeah, it's so beautiful. There's so much nature. There's a million lakes. You know, it's obviously the Great Lakes, but then there's a bunch of really beautiful inland lakes. Um, and there's like the Mitten. So if you start to go like up, in this area, it's really pretty. But then there's the UP, the Upper Peninsula, that is literally like you can't even. It's hard to like explain how rural it is, and like you'll drive like 20 miles without seeing a town. Like it's really
Wow.
really really crazy. It's like it's stuck in like the 50s or something, but it's yeah, it's really really cool. There's just a ton of beautiful nature. Yeah, there's just, if you're looking for anything nature related, Michigan's the place to be. Northern Michigan for sure.
Yeah, I love hiking, so I'm sure there's amazing hiking trails.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, tons of waterfalls and mountains
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, we do I live in Monterey. I'm like 2 hours south of San Francisco. Um, and it's really beautiful here in Monterey. But they do a thing at the Monterey Fairgrounds called Cali Roots, and I've been a few times, and I always tell myself, I'm like, I totally see John Paul just performing there because it's an amazing lineup of just all these incredible artists in Cali Roots, and I don't know, look it up, but I feel like you'd be perfect for that stage at Cali Roots.
That'd be hot. Cali Roots. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, it's like a it's cool. There's like reggae, but there's also like R&B and alternative. There's a little bit of everything. And
Heck yeah.
yeah, I totally see you performing there.
Um,
Um, let's see, what did I have next for you? Okay, who is one of your heroes? It could be a musical hero or not, either a family member or someone that you look up to who's changed your life. Who's like one of your heroes?
um, hmm. That's a really good question. I would say like my parents, I would say
Yeah,
probably my biggest heroes. Like they really just have influenced me a lot and taught me a lot about, hard work, and just like picked me up, when I'm feeling like not confident, and just reminded me that just to stay on this path. And they've really, really pushed me a lot and just supported me through ups and downs, and kind of kept me on this path. And honestly, like earlier I talked about like, the struggles after, dealing with like the after effect of going viral and stuff. And they were a huge impact on like helping me through all that. So I would say my parents are probably my biggest heroes.
that's incredible. It's nice to have not only a support system like that, but also someone that probably understood what you were going through as well and it can help you through that. That's amazing. Yeah, my parents too. I love my parents. And there's many people that, you always, grow up watching and
Yeah.
you kind of follow in their footsteps. So I agree. Um that's all I had planned for you. I didn't want to take a lot of your time. I know it's really late over there. Um but
That's
I
cool.
but I end all my episodes with if you have a question for me because I've asked you about your favorite Kelly Clarkson song. You've already told me it's because of you. Um
Yeah.
it's still your favorite song?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's such a banger, dude. That's like a song I forget about, and every time I hear it, I'm like, dude, like full blast, full volume. It's just such a banger. Um,
Yes.
but
Oh, I did have another question. Sorry, before you ask
oh
me one.
yeah,
I didn't really write the question. I just put ice baths because you started doing those ice baths, and
yeah,
I just wanted to know like what got you started in that. Why did you want to start doing I feel like you haven't done one in a minute, or at least posted a video about it.
yeah. I kind of stopped posting them. I still do them every single day.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but I partially stopped posting them because like it just looks like I'm getting like when there's not snow on the ground, it just looks like I'm getting in a thing of water. Like there's nothing saying that the water's cold in a video. You know what I mean? So it just kind of looks like I kept recording them after like all the snow melted, and I was like, this just looks like I'm like in a bathtub. Like it doesn't look like anything. So yeah, once snow starts coming down and it starts looking like winter again, I'll probably start recording them again and posting them. But yeah, no, I still am doing them just about every day. And I don't know. I had a friend at one point who was like telling me a lot about it, and I was taking a every for a while, like every 6 months, I was going up into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and doing like renting an Airbnb by myself and bringing up my recording equipment and my keyboard and stuff, and just writing for a couple days. Um, and I was really trying to get into like meditation, and just like I would go up and like drink nothing but water, and like just no caffeine, no nothing else. and just really kind of just trying to dial in. And it was really great for me. And I've been trying to find time to do another one. But I was going up and doing that, and I had a friend who kind of knew a lot about the ice bath stuff. And they were like, you really should try it while you're up there. Like, there's obviously all the lakes and stuff. Like it would do kind of a lot of what you are like trying to accomplish while you're up there. Like it can really help with that. So one of the days I got up early, and I remember I was there in Upper Peninsula in March, and it's like there's a chance you go up in March and there's a foot of snow. Like winters up there are crazy. So there was still some snow on the ground, like part of the lake was still frozen. The Airbnb I normally go to is like right down the road from two big lakes, and they were both completely frozen over, so I couldn't get into those. So I drove over to Lake Superior, which is like the big Great Lake above Michigan. And like the warmest that lake ever gets is like 60, 65 degrees, like in the middle of summer. So after winter, there's like still like ice covering parts of it. And it was like cold water, like just
Whoa.
above freezing, maybe like 40 degrees maximum.
Oh my God.
And I found a spot that was like a boat launch, that where the dock wasn't all the way taken out of the water. It was still kind of in there. So I could just like step down, and it wasn't too deep. Because I didn't want to like get in somewhere really deep and then like, body go into shock and drown or whatever, because I was totally by myself. So I was kind of really
Yeah.
afraid. Um, so yeah, I procrastinated. I was probably there for like 30 to 45 minutes, just like sitting there, like trying to
Whoa.
psych myself up to do it. Uh, and then finally I was like, let's just do it. And I got in, and I got out, and I felt like incredible. Like my body felt so good. Like I just felt like I could do anything. And like it does have a lot of health effects and stuff too, but part of it is just like dude, if you can do that, like you could talk yourself into just about anything. So it was just like that part of it was really really cool too. But there's a ton of health benefits. It's gets like really good for blood flow, and increasing your blood flow helps a lot. Helps you stay away from being sick. It helps, it releases a lot of chemicals in your brain to like help with like depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. So it's got a ton of health benefits. But after that, the rest of that trip, I was like, I got to do this every day. Like go find different spots and do it every day. So I did it all while I was up there. And then I didn't do it for a while. And then I tried to get into it one summer and didn't really stick with it. And then this past winter, I followed this guy on TikTok, and I wish I could remember his name right now. It's Jordan something. But he does it every single day. Like his whole thing, every single day he posts a video. This is day whatever of taking an ice bath every single day. And he was doing them in like January. And I think he lives in like Winnipeg, Canada, which is like, it's
Whoa.
like cold there all the time. And he would say like the temperature that it was out, and the temperature of the water, which was always like 0 degrees Celsius, or like basically just freezing. And he was doing them every day, and I was like, man, like I gotta get back into doing that. So I bought like a little used water trough thing that was used for an animal to drink out of, and cleaned it out real good, and threw some water in, and I just started doing them like pretty much every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I used to take cold showers when I was in cross country and track and tennis. The coach, told us we should try it out, and I did, and it really did help a lot.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's such a thing to get used to. But also, I
Yeah.
love that idea that of renting an Airbnb and going by yourself and just spending time with yourself. You just
Yeah.
inspired me to do that. I think that's such a cool, because I love being on my own and kind of by myself and in my own thoughts and to do what I want. That's a
Yeah.
great idea. I love
Thank
that.
you. It was like, so that was the first time I ever did it, was like the fall after I graduated college. So I graduated in the spring, and then that fall. And honestly, at that time, like it was something kind of always like an idea that I had, but like when I was in college, I never had the money for it. So I was like, I'm like just not gonna happen. Um, but after that summer, like I worked a ton, so I had some extra money saved up, and I was kind of just going through a lot of like, I just didn't really know what the next steps were in life. I just finished college, and I was in a long-term relationship that I really was like really unsure about. And I just felt like I had absolutely no sense of clarity in my mind at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I think I booked it like 2 weeks before, and I was like, I'm just gonna go. And I went for 3 or 4 days. And I don't even think I ended up releasing any of the music I wrote up there, because I don't think any of it was very good. But I just spending that time alone and just being with my thoughts and stuff like brought me back so much clarity. And I think like 2 weeks later I ended that relationship. Like, and it was like a long
Wow.
relationship, like it was like it's just so rare to get time to step away and just like, be with your thoughts and and try to eliminate distractions and just like, face whatever it is you're putting off thinking about. So yeah, and then after that it was just like this is the best. Like I just gotta keep doing this. So I haven't done one in a couple of years. But I'm trying to do one this fall, but if not fall, probably in the spring.
Yeah. Nice. I'm gonna write that down. I gotta do that.
Got
Yeah.
to, dude.
Before we wrap up, before I finish up, do you have a question for me? Anything you want to ask me at all?
Um, what's your what's been in 2023, what's been your favorite moment of the podcast so far?
Of the podcast. Oh my goodness. Um, well, I did something a little different. In the beginning of this year, I released a season of album breakdowns because I love so many albums, so I wanted to talk about the albums that I grew up on and the ones that I loved. So I did like Adele, Sam Smith, I did Beyonce, I did Kelly, I did a bunch of albums, and I did a cover of a song from each of those albums, and I got to break it down and talk about it because
Nice.
I feel like the podcast I was just doing interviews and interviews, but I think people forgot that I also love music, and music was my number one, the first thing, and singing as well. So I kind of did that. That was one of my favorite things I've done. Um,
That's
so
awesome.
this season here, this is the first one this year, like with interviews. Um, and yeah, it's been lots of fun. I got to interview probably my favorite one besides you, but I got to interview my I have a musician friend, John Turi, who he is a great singer, and he has an album called Penny Ray, which is so beautiful. You got to check it out.
Yeah.
He recently got to sing with Ed Sheeran. He got to sing with him.
Wow.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran released an album called Autumn Variations, and he did a version of the album that's completely live. So he wanted to be more connected with the fans. So each song on that version of the album is sung in front of a fan, and John Touré is one of
Wow.
those fans, so
That is so cool.
his team reached out to John and they sent him to LA to do it. And there's videos of it on YouTube. Every song, there's a video of Ed singing in front of the fan, which is really cool.
That is
So yeah, I
amazing.
was freaking out for him. So he surprised me with it during our episode, but he wanted my episode. He wanted to give the whole story of it on my show. So when people actually
That
hear
is
about it,
so
they
cool.
would come to my show to hear the whole story, which is really cool. And John, his biggest dream, because Ed Sheeran has his own record label, so John Terry's hoping to
I
be
didn't know
signed
that.
by him because they got to sing, and he sent his music to him. So hopefully, he's hoping. Um, yeah, so that's a big thing that happened recently.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
Like to be like the exclusive like outlet for like a story like that. That's really, really cool.
Yes. So that's the biggest thing for this podcast. But like for this year, this whole year has been just like up and down, things that I did not expect would happen. Like my biggest dream since I was a kid was to sing the national anthem at an event, at any event. And I've already done it 3 times this year.
That's awesome,
I was like,
man.
I did it at a San Jose Giants game, at a like
Nice.
legit baseball game, and I was like, holy shit. I did it at a basketball game. I don't even watch sports, dude. I'm showing up
Yeah.
at these events, and then
Heck
I did
yeah.
it for this event here in town for like this unveiling of a statue. They needed a singer, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do it.
That's
Um,
awesome, man.
yeah, but I've done a lot of traveling. Like I saw Adele in Vegas and Kelly Clarkson in Vegas.
Sick.
I went to Cabo. I went to Puerto Rico to see some family. Um, yeah, also a lot of like downs as well. Like my coworker passed away. Was not expecting that. He was so young too.
I'm sorry
And
to hear
then
that, man.
my car got totaled. I got in a car accident, almost died.
Jesus. Damn.
But I'm getting a new car this weekend. Like it's a lot of happy stuff and then a lot of really dark stuff, but like a good
Yeah.
balance. Like I'm able to balance everything equally. I feel like that's how us humans are. Like we go through stuff, but we have work the next day. We got school the next day. We just gotta keep
Yeah.
moving forward.
Keep talking. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's been seemingly more good than bad. That's great, man. But yeah, it's funny you're talking about like the national anthem thing.
Yeah.
There's a 5K every year on the 4th of July in the town like where our business is. And every year for the last like probably 10 years, I've sang the national anthem at it. And it's like it's super casual. Like there's no microphone. It's I literally just walk up and like half the people can't even hear me sing. But one year they gave me a shirt for the 5K. It just says like whatever year it is 5K. I've sang for 10 years. I've never once actually ran the 5K. Like I immediately just like leave. Um but they gave me a shirt, dude. I wore that shirt so much because it looked like I ran a 5K. I was like, yeah, it's just like, I'm kind of a runner myself. Whole time I just like sang and walked away at like a leisurely casual pace. But
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that's
You
so
would be
funny.
me. I would show up to do it and then I wouldn't run.
And then bounce. Yeah, 100%, dude.
But that song, that's a rangy song. I forget how rangy it is. I gotta like, yo, well, pick a cool key. Don't pick a key that's too high because then you gotta keep going up. It's hard.
It's like one of the it's one of the hardest songs to sing, if not the hardest, because it's the one song that anytime you sing it, everybody has to shut up at least at the beginning. So it's like it just gets so quiet, and it's just it's a nerve-wracking song to sing for
Yeah.
sure.
For me, it's a little shaky in the beginning. Then I find my groove. I get
Mm-hmm.
there. But then you have to hit the free note of the
Mm-hmm.
free. I'm like, dude. And then like we're almost there, almost there, almost there. Let me
Yep.
finish it, and then we're good. I'm like, God, there's so
Yep.
much.
Yep. That's relatable.
Okay. I think we're done. I appreciate you coming on my show. Thank you so
For
much.
sure.
Yeah, thanks for coming every year. I look forward to this every year.
Likewise, man. And I gotta say too, like it's been cool. Like, we've all obviously always supported each other from a distance, and every once in a while we come together and chat and stuff, which is great. But it's been awesome just to see you grow so much, man. I feel like we're both such different people than we were when we first like interacted, you know what I mean? And it's just great to see. Like I feel like we're both just like plugging away at what we're trying to do. So it's great to see, man. And you inspire me when I see you grinding away at your craft, man. So it's great to see. And I appreciate you having me on. As always, it's a blast.
Ah, that's so nice to say. Thanks for saying that, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate that. Oh my God, that means so much to me. Thank you.
For sure, man. All right, cool, man. Well, have a great night. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to Confabulate. I'll see y'all next week. Thank you. Can I get a picture before we leave?
100%, yeah.
How do I do this on Zoom? I guess, well, it's being filmed, so just like make a pose and I guess I'll do it later.
All
Cool.
right,
All right. I think we got it. Cool.
sweet.
Thank you, John Paul. I'll see you
Yeah,
soon.
thanks, man. Have a good night.
Bye.